All right, baby. It is enlightenment for the soul, the mind, the ear. WSMESM Enlightenment Radio. What's going on, baby? People, it is another edition of the Spotlight. Comes at you every Sunday right here on SM Enlightenment Radio. And as you know, the Spotlight is a show where, hey, we always bring you something, someone, something that you definitely need to know about. And hey, this week, I have a very, very special guest. All right. A new artist to SM Enlightenment Radio, but definitely not a new artist to the industry. Okay. This is an R&B veteran. Okay. And I mean, just nothing but a fantastic voice. I mean, she's worked with the likes of all of the greats in R&B. All right. I mean, this is a 4-time Grammy considered, all right, multi-talented artist. All right. I mean, hey, you read about it in Billboard, Soul Tracks. I mean, she's worked with the likes of Anita Baker, the OJs, Kim, Najee. I mean, on tour with them. I mean, open for Peabo Bryson, Patti LaBelle, Gladys Knight. I mean, the list goes on. And then she comes from music royalty anyways. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, it is my absolute honor to bring to you the very lovely and talented Beth. Hey,
that's a wonderful introduction. Thank you.
Hey, you are well deserved of it. Okay. I mean, you know, when I just looked at you know, all that you've done, you know, and what it is that you do, I mean, it really is fascinating. You know what I'm saying? And I really commend you on your accomplishments. I mean, right now, I just discovered you with Ooh, you know, which is, you know, just one of my favorite R&B songs. I mean, you know, a lot of people, R&B is back anyways. You know what I mean? I mean, we all know that. Mm-hmm. All right. But, you know, you got a real good grip on it. I just have to let you know.
Thank you.
You got.
Hold on, I'm trying to.
Yeah, you got a master grip there, you know, and it's the thing that I like about your style, the way that it hits me is, it's like I hear the best out of a lot of the greats sort of come together, and you it's like you. I can hear some influences, but you like the way that you bring it together and then you add your own thing. It's like, wow, it's just really well put together. I could tell that you've worked with a lot of different artists and you've been around a lot of that. And you know, it sounds as though it's like you're a master, like you're a student of it, but then a master of it as well.
Oh, well, wow. That's super kind. Thank you. I know I'm definitely a student, and I've always been a student. I don't mind being a student. I'll continue to be a student. You know what I'm saying? There's so many great artists that have come out that I have had the privilege of experiencing them in this lifetime. I've been able to see them live. So it's like some artists, you have to go back and pull their stuff because, you know, they're no longer here. And it's a lot of greats that are no longer here, but I've been blessed enough to actually be in real time with some of them. And I'm so grateful for that. And just, you know, and then I love to sing. It's my favorite thing. So I would think that you would hear, I'm kind of like a melting pot. You know, you're going to hear some Whitney, you may hear some Anita, you may hear a little Braxton, you may hear a little Gladys Knight in me, you may hear a little Patti LaBelle in me. Mm-hmm. You may hear a little Aretha, like all of these things. And it may not be exactly what they do, but it might be some inflections of them. Because I listened to all of them. They were, you know, what I grew up listening to. So, yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, you know, to me, it's like I hear the best. You know what I mean? Like that, you know, that thing that Whitney does. You know what I'm saying? That thing that I hear like Fantasia doing, you know, like the different ones, you know what I'm saying? I can hear it all coming together, but then in your own sort of stew, you know what I mean? And it's
Beth soup.
The Beth soup. That's it. Hey, you see, that sounds like an album title in the future. Right. All right. So, you know, I just want a skit in it. You know what I mean? To say, hey, you know, SM Enlightenment Radio, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So you grew up in Detroit?
Yeah. Born and raised. I still live here. Absolutely love my city. I love my hometown. I've been
Oh, the
blessed to
city.
travel all over the world, and Detroit is a place where I really love to come back home to. I get a little bit of everywhere that I've traveled. Detroit has a little bit of that there, and that's the cool part. If you want to, get some fine dining, we have that. If you want to do the arts, we have that. If you want to go to the club and party, we have that. We have the casinos, we have the waterfront. But then at the same time, we have family life and home living here as well.
Right.
So you're able to go home and go into your backyard and barbecue, or go to the park. You just have everything, and I love it. I love to go away, but I love to come back home as well.
Like no place like home, right?
No place like home, right?
And I mean, hey, I mean, just the history of Detroit is just being like the mecca of soul.
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know, I mean, what was it like? Because sort of you're born into that. You're born into that into just music greatness. Tell me how that was.
Um, so I get asked that question a lot, and I was born after the Motown stuff, so I have no idea. Um,
Wow.
my dad was just my dad. Motown was gone when I was born. I knew nothing of it. I just knew that my father had played piano, and I would hear family members and people talk about what my father had done. But the heyday of Motown and the Supremes and Gladys Knight and the Four Tops and the Temptations. Yeah, Beth was Beth was in the atmosphere. But I'm thankful that when I was born, that my father maintained his love for music, and there was always music being played in the house, but not like people normally have the traditional, Black stories. If they get up on Saturday morning, their mama's playing all the music and they got to clean the house. That
Yeah.
wasn't my Saturday morning in my Black household. It was Saturday morning, or any given morning. My dad's on the piano, and he's practicing his chromatic scales. So I heard piano exercises and playing. I didn't really get exposed to a lot of music outside of the house, except for just hearing classical music being played or jazz music being played on the piano. So, and then I was taught to play piano, and then I was taught to study music and to learn music and things like that, which I didn't think was cute. So I didn't really pay it any attention. Um, so, and honestly, I was taught these things, but it just, girls didn't really play like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And
Yeah.
so it really wasn't cute until Alicia Keys popped out.
Look at that.
You know what I'm saying? And then I'm like, oh my God,
Yeah, she made it cool.
trying to teach me all of that stuff, So it's like, but yeah, there was music in my home, but it just wasn't the traditional Black family music. You got, the OJs playing, or,
Yeah.
It wasn't that. It was me hearing my father play classical music, or playing whatever it was that he was working on or writing or composing, because my father was a writer and composer. So all of these things I was hearing, and I kind of just, that's my dad playing the piano. So it was kind of like,
how did you end up singing?
Because I just could. And so, and I don't mean that in a weird way. I didn't know. So my sister could sing. My grandmother, who I never knew could sing, and my aunt, my father's sister, who I never knew could sing.
Wow.
And so the only person that I knew that could sing was my sister, and I would hear my sister singing, and I thought that was the most wonderful thing ever. Didn't really know I could or couldn't sing because my voice wasn't developed yet. But then I run across this beautiful woman named Whitney Houston, right? And I get her album, and that's when I was like, oh, that's what I want to do. So it had nothing to do with, it was like me hearing my sister sing, and I wanted to do something my big sister did. But it wasn't until I heard Whitney and saw her on that, debut album cover, and I heard her sing for the first time. I was like, oh, no, I'm going to be her. That's what I want to do. And so
that is absolutely fascinating. I ask a lot of artists, and that I was like trying to see if I could inch around to asking you that question, and without without me even asking, because I always want to know, what was that moment? What was the moment? What, when you decided yes, and you just told that to me. It's like, and a lot of artists have those different times, where
Yeah.
like they may hear a record, or they might see something, or or hear something, but so it was that Whitney Houston album, huh? That's
I had heard the music, everything was, you hear it on the radio, and you see pictures of her, but it was that picture of her on that beach with that swimsuit. She was tall, she was thin, she was dark, she had short hair. You didn't see that. And then you heard her sing like an angel. And I'm like, well, I'm tall and I'm thin and I'm dark and I don't have long hair. And then I can sing, I think. And so then that was that. And then I started, getting in, singing in the choir and things like that. And it wasn't until I was probably 13 or 14 to where my teacher was like, come here, sing this for me. She was like, you can sing. I was like, I can. So it was kind of that.
yeah.
Yeah. And then she was like, yeah, you can sing. You're going to be singing. And I was like, okay, well, I like to sing. I like Whitney Houston. And it was just one of those things where, because Motown had left and my dad had not had a favorable experience with the separation of Motown and Detroit, my parents did not press me or even encourage me to go into music. It was like, get your education, because the music business is not going to be good for you, right?
Right.
So it was like, okay, I'll get my education, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, I'm about to be a star. Like, I'm going to be singing. Like, but I didn't really say anything because I was right. So that was my dream. That was my wish. That was, something that I kept near and dear, tucked in my heart. So, just seeing Whitney and seeing her do it, that was something I just kind of put in the back of my mind. And then getting the encouragement from teachers, and then high school, and, starting to sing in bands and clubs and everything when I graduated from high school on through college. And then finally, like, oh, okay, no, you could sing. Well, how much do you charge? I'm like, okay, y'all gonna pay me. So it was just one of these things
I can get paid for this?
Right. And I'm like, you mean to tell me I get to sing what's on the radio, get dressed up, and just sing to y'all? And I had a tip jar? What? So, I was in them gigging days where people request a song and put some money. They don't necessarily do that anymore. I haven't.
So all right. So we're at the point now where you're like got that self-discovery going on.
Yeah.
All right.
But still unsure.
Yeah. So how do you end up traveling the world with?
Yeah. So it's just one of these things. And as I look back, and if there's anybody listening that is wanting to, you a young whippersnapper and you got a dream and a sparkle in your eye, the best thing that I can tell you is to just if you think it, if you believe it, but you also make choices to put you in places to grow. You can't hang around people and be in situations that are completely opposite from where your goals are, right? You have to be strategic with it. So strategic for me was, okay, I want to sing. I started meeting people who sang and like, well, okay, well, now I want to record. Okay, I know people that have a studio. And then, okay, I tried the girl group thing, and that worked for about an hour. But but some good things came from that as well. So I'm trying to think of like chronologically how to tell you. So I start working out of a studio, and I end up meeting Mike Powell, who is from Chapter 8. And Mike Powell worked out of a studio that's downtown. And I'm going to kind of paraphrase this. He worked out of a studio. I'd already met him at another studio. And then I end up meeting him at another studio. And then he remembered me from the first studio that he met me at. And that was the beginning of me going on the road, because I kind of told him, I said, hey, you met me at the other studio. I'm not working there anymore or working with those guys anymore, but I really want to go on the road. And he was like, well, I've heard you sing. You're good. I'm going to introduce you to some people. So that's how it started. So he took me to Aretha Franklin first, because she used to work out of that studio. And of course, Michael Powell did production for Aretha Franklin. And he takes her.
Wow.
And this is like these stories I'm going to tell you, when I repeat them back sometime, I'm like, okay, I sound like I'm making this up. So let me just give you this
It's
disclaimer.
a dream. You're literally living a dream.
My life, but I see it now. At the time, I'm like, why they didn't call me? But like, it's the fact that I was in the room with them, right? So he
Yeah.
came to Aretha Franklin. He was like, yeah, Aretha. Now we're standing there. I got this girl. She's really good, and she wants to sing background for artists. Would you take her? And she's like, have you ever been on the road before? And I'm like, no, ma'am. And she's like, oh, no, she can't go with me. She's never been on the road. I'm not going to break her in on the road. So she didn't hire me. But here's the kicker. Aretha Franklin knew my dad. My dad was her first keyboard player that went on the road with her.
What? Oh.
That's why I'm telling you, these stories are crazy, right? So she ends up saying, yeah, I knew your daddy. That was, we were really cool, but like, I don't want to break you in on, and my father was deceased by this time. She's like, but I don't want to take you on the road as your first gig. So that didn't work. But hey, I got to meet Aretha Franklin and get reacquainted with her regarding my father, right? So that was cool. Then the next person he takes me to is Anita Baker. Well, he takes me to Anita Baker, and that started me touring with her for 5 years. So let me backtrack one thing. This story is going to sound crazy too.
Okay.
So when I said I started singing early on, and then I got in a girl group, I got in this girl group, and the OJs were coming to town one time. OJs and Phyllis Hyman. We young, we going to see the OJs. I know some of the OJs music, but I just know they doing a show at the Fox Theater and Phyllis Hyman, and I loved Phyllis Hyman, right?
Okay.
So we go to meet the OJs at their hotel. It was in downtown Detroit. And I'll never forget, it was 5 girls. We're in this group. We get to singing, and Eddie, Walter, and it was another, Sammy was in the group at the time.
Okay.
And they all look at us, and we thinking the OJs is going to help us and we're going to get discovered. And Eddie looks at us. He was like, they good, but they just not ready. Well, that's the term. They need some grooming. Okay.
Yeah.
So we got all dressed up and everything. We leave out this hotel room, and I'm the last person to walk out the door. And I will never forget this. Eddie Levert tapped me on the shoulder. He said, hey, you good. He said, if you don't quit singing, you're going to be all right. He said, y'all not ready, but you're going to be all right. We took pictures that day. We went to the show that night. We met Phyllis Hyman. We saw the OJs and everything, and went on about our business. Now, fast forward 119 years later, which is now, I started working for the OJs.
Get out of here.
As a background singer, right?
Wow.
So I get this call from somebody else. They're looking for, the OJs wants some female background singers, which they still have. And I got a chance to tour with them for 6 months, which was amazing. Eddie was sick during this time. So I got a chance to see Eddie like twice. And then he got sick, and then we went on the road for 6 months.
Okay.
And by the time he came back, because he's better now, I had left. But I got a chance to talk to Eddie and show him the picture that we took those 119 years prior. And he looked at this picture. He said, I remember this. And he looked at me. He said, are you that girl? And I said, yes. And it was just amazing that I got a chance to tell him or to see him, and for him to see that I'm still singing. So I've had these moments in my life that have just been amazing. And they don't even sound real when I repeat them. But, I just would have never thought that I would have gotten a chance to, work with the OJs and work with Anita and be in the space. But it chronically happened because I kept putting myself in places or just telling people that I want to sing, and it just kind of happened. Like, even I got a chance to meet Whitney. Like, these things just kind of happen. And yeah, it's been a ride.
Hey, well, it's a testament to, positive thinking and believing in yourself and having faith, And
sometimes your belief in yourself may waver, but your desire to not quit has to be strong.
That's it.
Because you can lose faith in yourself. You can be, a little discouraged. Things can happen, but your desire to not quit has to be great, because that'll push you through when things don't always line up the way you hoped, wished, expected.
Tell me about these television appearances here. The Voice, Dancing with the Stars.
I love it. So Dancing with the Stars was first. with working with Anita, I got a chance to work with the great Ray Chu. And Ray Chu called me in for a huge episode that they had on Dancing with the Stars, which was season 22, I think. And they just had a ton of songs. And they called me in and asked me would I sing Whitney and sing Aretha Franklin, right? And I'm like, on live TV, are you kidding me? But the fact that he thought enough of me to do it, I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the experience. That show put me in SAG-AFTRA, and the couple that danced to the song that I sang got the first perfect score of a 10 of the season.
Look at that.
So I was like, okay, Whitney up there waving her little, sprinkling a little fairy dust on me while I'm singing. So it was just a great experience, and to get acclimated to television. Television is a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
You're doing a bar in the club and you singing your song and you feeling it and you vibing, right? When you're television, you cannot. You sing it like the records. You don't miss a beat. You don't miss a step. Everything is timed to the millisecond, and the dancers are dancing specific dances based on the song. So you can't throw in ooh, you can't do that because it's not in the song. And so you have to be very structured, and that was one of the best experiences for me, to the structure that I had to have to do television, as well as the voice. You had to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and in a way, because I was saying you conquered you conquered like the whole tour life, you conquering the recording artist life, now like doing television stuff, which in a lot of ways, the way that you described that, it's almost like it could be like Broadway as well,
I would think, yes, because everything is, this is here, the blocking, the structuring, and you better keep it, because you miss your cue or your count, it throws the next thing off.
So yeah, it's just so many different things that you're doing. I mean, what's more in the future? I know, of course, these fantastic records you're making. I don't think that you'll ever stop doing that.
Thank you. I but that, because I don't either. So thank you.
But what else is on the horizon for Beth?
I want to, first of all, I want to stay as stress-free as possible.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
That's the main thing. Stress-free, and I want to smile as much as possible, and I want to enjoy life as much as possible. Now, that's the first thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
With me being happy, stress-free, and enjoying life, that allows me to be creative. And then we'll flow into the creativity, and I can continue to create. So my main thing of where my life is now, my focus is making sure up here is okay, down here is okay.
Yeah.
And I continue to create. So I'm going to continue to create. I wanted to put an album out probably this year, but decided not to.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of people that haven't heard my last album.
There you go.
And it's still new to those that have never heard it.
Right. Yeah, because even I mean, I'm just getting up on it now, but I mean, it's been out for a minute,
Yeah.
And then you got the new record, Call Me.
Yeah.
Which, so, our station is just getting a 1-2 punch of Beth right now.
Well, you know what? I mean? I love creating. I love music. I love seeing people respond to the music. Music is subjective. It's going to touch and hit people differently every time.
Yeah.
But I figure if you haven't heard my record yet, it's still new. And I'm going to continue to, work the album that I have out until I start working on the next album.
Yeah, but not for nothing, but I mean, I and it's my opinion, and of the great Doc P of SM Enlightenment Radio, that your song "Ooh" is, I mean, it has that sort of standard power to it. You know what I mean? Like it's to me, it could be really a timeless record. So I would say don't ever give up on pushing it. You know what I mean?
And that's been my thing too. You know, if you're gonna put music out, believe in it and don't give up on your music.
Yeah, yeah,
And it's
yeah,
easier said than done too. You know,
yeah,
it's easier
yeah.
said than done. But I really and with Call Me, when we first put the album out, Call Me was one of those songs where people really said, you know, I like that Call Me. What are you gonna do with that? And we're like, we don't know. We like it too. And it's always kind of been in the back of my mind to put it out as a single.
Yeah,
We've already released 3 singles from the album. So this is the 4th. And then to create a really beautiful visual to go with it. You know, people love visuals. We're in the age of visual.
that's right.
Everything is visual. So I was like, you know what? How about we put the song out because it's a fan favorite and add a beautiful visual to it. So I'm really excited about that.
So for Call Me, do we have an official release date?
We do August 29th.
Uh-oh, you heard it first right here
Yeah,
on
do.
SM Enlightenment Radio. You know,
Yes.
we're already beginning to run the record, you know, so
Thank
people can
you.
so people can hear it here. But you know, it's been such an honor and a pleasure having you.
I appreciate
here.
you having me. Thank you.
Yeah. And you know, hey, let's definitely stay in touch. You're always welcome to come back whenever you have anything that you want to talk about. You know, the platform is here. You have a home here at SM Enlightenment Radio because you are the real deal. All right. And you know, I love your voice and your style. And you know, I just wish you all the best of success.
Thank you. I received that. Thank you so much.
In all that you do. All right. Hey, this has been the spot. Oh, before we go, how can people follow you, stay in touch with you? You know, where can they get you?
Yeah, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
My website is bethalwayssings.com. You can check me out there, and there you can find all of my music as well as it'll connect you to my social media handles, which my Instagram is Beth Always Sings, and so you can find me there. But my website, bethalwayssings.com, and that's BethalwaySsings. You go there, and it'll take you right to everything for me.
The one, the only, Beth. Beth, thank you so much once again for joining us right here on SM Enlightenment Radio. And hey, you know, after this segment, we're going to get right in to your music. Okay, so yeah, both songs, Ooh and Call Me. So keep it locked, folks. All right, it's more of that feel good radio coming your way right here on SM Enlightenment Radio.